Today we're checking out these Raxiom white LED grill lights with clear lenses for the 2024 and newer Tacoma Pre-Runner, TRD Off-Road, and TRD Sport. If you're looking for a modern LED glow peeking through the grill and you're not looking to swap the entire grill completely, this kit adds a clean, factory-style accent to the front end, so it's definitely worth checking out. This setup is a 4-piece grill light kit that tucks into the grill opening perfectly, and it's gonna come on with your running lights, so you don't have to remember to switch it on or run any wires into the cabin with a separate switch. The white LEDs give you a bright and crisp light that makes you more visible, and it helps you stand out from the pack a little bit and you're not just looking like you're running a stock Tacoma. This helps make the truck look newer and more upscale, especially at dusk and at night. Because these are designed specifically for the Tacoma's grill, the pieces are contoured perfectly to sit right in the openings of the grill, and it's not gonna look like some universal LED strip or an afterthought. Day to day, you're gonna get a bit more presence on the road and a nice visual upgrade every time someone sees you pulling up in the truck. When it comes to the construction on these, you're getting lights built with nice black ABS housings and clear acrylic lenses. These are all gonna be weather sealed to make sure you don't have any weather intrusion, and they're not gonna get faded or foggy over time like some stock lights tend to do. The ABS housings are molded to follow those grill openings perfectly, and they're tough enough to handle heat and vibration, while the acrylic lens is gonna stay clear and resist yellowing over time. The kit also comes with a high quality fuse tap, so you can tap right into the truck's power cleanly without hacking up the factory wiring. And if you stick with me, we'll show you this install just here in a minute. As far as the pricing goes on this, it's coming in right around that $70 price range for the full kit. For 4 LED modules with a Tacoma specific wiring layout to simplify the install process, that is a very strong deal in my opinion. When it comes to the install on this, it's gonna get rated just a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You can have this job done in about 30 minutes of your time. So now let's head on out to the shop. We're gonna give you a detailed walkthrough of exactly how this install process goes.
All right, for this install, you're gonna need a 3/8 ratchet, a 10mm socket, a pocket screwdriver, a pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of wire crimpers, and also a grabber tool if you need one. Today we're gonna be installing grill lights on a Tacoma. Let's get started. All right, first thing we're gonna do is remove our air duct. There's 4 clips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 on the inside and 2 on the outside. We're gonna push these clips in with our pocket screwdriver and pull them out. You can set this off to the side. And then we're gonna go right into moving our radiator shroud. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clips that we're all going to push in and pop out. And we're going to remove the whole section. Now we can remove our 3 10mm bolts that hold in our grill shutter, so that way we can get better access to the front of the grill. We use our 10mm socket. Our middle one is missing, so we're going to go right to the end one. And that should sit forward a little bit just to give you some more room for the grill lights. Now we're going to install the grill lights from the front facing side. We're going to send our wires through and then clip the back end in. Just take note not to send the wire all the way through to the grill shutter. They might get caught inside there, if you have that equipped. And then they just clip in like that. Also take note of the orientation of which direction the swoop goes for the symbol. And moving on to our outer ones, just take note of the orientation of which way they're going to sit flush. All right, once these are secured and clipped in, we're going to move on to our harness. All right, now that we have our lights in the front grille, we're going to take our harness and separate it into 2 sections. We are going to drop 2 wires down on the driver's side and 2 wires down on the passenger side, so that way we can better access the light harnesses on the bottom. With our grill shutter a little bit loose, we can now move this back and forth to get our wires down. All right, once you have the harness down and any wires tucked away from any moving parts, the best route you can find available, best suited to your needs, we're gonna tuck those wires down and plug them in. All right, now that we have our harnesses dropped down to the correct length, we can get into our wires and plug into our harnesses. You can use a tool like this, an extended grabbing tool, to pull one of the wires through. We're gonna grab one. Just make sure when you do grab it, you can grab them both to the same hole so you can plug it in a little bit easier. Now that we have both out, just gonna connect each wire and then feed it back through. Now we can plug our middle light, get that connected. And then you're going to tuck all these wires up and make sure everything's out of the way from moving parts, and you can repeat this step for the other side. All right, now that we have our wiring in and our connectors installed, we are going to install the red fuse tap wire onto our red wire, and we're going to do so by crimping the wire down. You want to make sure your sheathing is all the way back, hold your wire in place, and use your wire crimpers and crimp everything down. And once that's on, slide your sheathing over and set that off to the side. All right, now you can install your grounding ring onto your black wire. Place that in your wire crimpers, get it lined up, and crimp it down. All right, now we can remove this body mount nut to install our grounding terminal. We're going to use a 10 mil socket to remove that out of the way. Slide our terminal over and put the screw back into position. Might be hard to see, it's tucked under this plastic just a bit. All right, now you can move over to your fuse box once you have that uncovered. You're gonna go from the driver's side and count one row in, and you're gonna count 7 fuses up, which will be your ignition fuse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're gonna remove that 10 amp fuse, pair of needle nose, pull that right out. And then we could take our fuse tap and insert the prongs into that fuse. And then you can route your wire whichever way you need necessary. All right, you may need to notch a little hole into your fuse cover to let the wire sit down flush, but for demonstration purposes, we're just gonna lay it flush on there. All right, next we're going to route our wire in any direction that can stay out of any moving parts or any hot parts of the vehicle. For demonstration purposes, we're just gonna lay it here. We're gonna install our grill support bolt and keep the wires tucked in the back of that. We can tighten this down with our 10 mil socket. And run the wire down along that channel and move on to our next bolt. All right, now we're gonna install our radiator shroud, lay it back on top in place, and we're gonna install a few clips just to get it started. Got one in the top corner here. Push that down, secure it. Move on to the opposite corner. And clip that one in. And then we can move on to installing the rest. And then you got the last 2 right in the front. Now we can move on to our air duct. Now we can install our air duct, place that into the snorkel, and now we can put our clips in. Fine. And our vehicle is missing one, so we're gonna leave that one out. All right, that wraps up our install for Raxiom white LED grille light in clear lens on 24 to 26 Tacoma pre-runner, TRD off-road, and TRD sport. Just remember, for everything Tacoma related, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.